everyone, thank you for stopping by my channel today. I'm going to be talking about the newly released Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer. So she already had the ever so popular Brow Wiz, and now she's come out with the Brow Definer, which is slightly different, and I'm going to compare the two to each other. Which one I like better, which one is worth it, kind of all of those details. It should be pretty quick, so if you're interested in finding out what's going on with the Brow Definer, then just keep watching. So I have to start by saying that the Brow Wiz, which is the tiny little skinny pencil, I have to say that the Brow Wiz really is like my holy grail brow pencil. It's like my yardstick. You know, when they say you've got something that you always compare to, it's like the foundation. Like the Brow Wiz is my yardstick. I compare everything else, every other brow pencil that I try, to the Brow Wiz. Why do I like it? I've said like a million times, it is the perfect blend of being creamy and smooth so that it's easy to apply, but also has this level of waxiness to it so that it makes it nothing like a kohl eyeliner which glides on. It's got this inherent level of waxiness to it that allows you to not overdo it. I feel like if you are inexperienced when it comes to doing your brows, or you're unsure of how to do it, if you put a Brow Wiz in your hand, you almost cannot do it wrong. Anastasia, the brow goddess, came out with what she calls the Brow Definer. So for starters, it is about a little bit more than twice as much product for only a couple dollars more. This being the Brow Wiz and this being the Definer. You can even see the difference in thickness of the pencils between the two. That's because there literally is more product in there. And one of the complaints about the Brow Wiz is that you go through them so quickly. In fact, I just showed two Brow Wizes that I had gone through in my favorite empties beauty edition video, which I posted not that long ago. I will link it down below. But yes, I did go through two of the Brow Wizes. So it also has a spoolie on the other end, which I think is essential and key, because if you had to go the extra step and pick up the spoolie off of the table, you might not be inclined to do so, and therefore would then not comb out your brows after applying pencil. Because you know, we're all high maintenance and we need the spoolie accessible in the same hand. So the reason that you wind up getting more product is because the shape of the Brow Definer is different from the Brow Wiz. The Brow Wiz comes to a very fine point. It is pointy so that you can create very micro thin brow hairs that mimic what actual brow hairs would look like. The Brow Definer, on the other hand, is shaped like a triangle, and you can, based on the way that you're holding it or angling it, use it a number of different ways. You can use a very fine or wide edge depending on whether or not you use the top of the pencil where it's narrower, or the bottom of the pencil, the triangle, where it's a little bit wider. So you can determine how thick or how thin a line you'd like to draw. Or you can use the Brow Definer just on its flat edge and use it to cover a larger area when you're trying to fill in your brows, because now you're exposing more pencil to your eyebrow area. I have both the Brow Wiz and the Brow Definer in the taupe shades, and honestly the shades look basically the same, which I actually appreciate because I really didn't feel like having to try to pick out a whole other color. But my comparison between the two is that they are not interchangeable brow pencils. The formula of the Brow Definer seems quite a bit creamier. It applies product a little bit easier, meaning that you can run the risk of overdoing it because it doesn't have the same level of waxiness that prevents major application the way it does in the Brow Wiz. I don't think the Brow Definer feels that way. One of the other drawbacks to the Brow Definer is it starts off as a very sharp triangle, but as you use it, the edges definitely soften, and that impacts your ability to draw a sharp or precise line when you are trying to, for example, outline the edges of your eyebrows. I still prefer using the Brow Wiz, most especially on the inside corners of my brow, because it's an area where you want to go lighter. You don't want it to be as dark as the outer edges of your brow or as filled in. And I feel like the Brow Wiz gives me much more power and control over how intense my eyebrow is as you get closer to my nose. But I will say this, I have been using the Brow Definer to kind of complement my use of the Brow Wiz. In the other areas of my brow, with the exception of the inner corner, the Brow Definer does an amazing job of very quickly and easily filling in the gaps. I feel like based on the formula of the brow definer, it almost feels to me as if it is a powder, you know, a brow powder in pencil form. The way a brow powder can kind of fill in somewhat larger areas than, let's say, a microfine pencil can, I feel like the ease of the brow definer so closely mimics a brow powder. And I actually really like that. And so what I'm doing now is I am using both when it comes to doing my eyebrows. I use the Brow Wiz on the inner corner, and where I want a very sharp line, for example, where I'm trying to outline the edges of my brow, I definitely rely on the Brow Wiz for that, because now that I have softened the edges of the brow definer, I feel like it's too hit and miss, and I can very easily draw a much broader line than I was looking for. However, I don't spend the time with a microfine pencil of the Brow Wiz. I don't spend my time using that in the rest of my brow, where it gets wider and isn't so prominent the way it is as you get closer to my nose. The brow definer allows me to very quickly, softly, and easily fill in the rest of the gaps and the remaining portions of my brow, and it winds up looking really, really natural. So yes, I'm using both. I am not using either exclusively. However, I will say this. If you were choosing to only pick one over the other, I would say definitely go with the Brow Wiz. I feel like it's more versatile, it's easier to use, and you are less likely to wind up overdoing it. That being said, with the brow definer, you do wind up getting twice as much product for only a couple dollars more. So if budget is a concern for you and you are able to manipulate the brow definer the way that you need it to work for your particular brows, then congratulations. I think the brow definer then would be an awesome addition to your collection, because I think both pencils are definitely top notch and do an amazing job with brows. They just have those differences that come down to preference and what your particular brows need. What do your brows need? So those are my thoughts on the Anastasia Brow Definer and how it compares to the Brow Wiz. I hope that one of them winds up working for you, or if not, perhaps then you have found your own brow pencil holy grail. By the way, what is it? Please leave me a comment down below. Also, if you've got any videos that you think you might like to see me make, I'd be more than happy to take any and all suggestions. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would definitely appreciate if you did. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you have a really good rest of the day. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, and in the meantime, thanks.
It also has a spoolie. I always open the wrong end. I always open the opposite end of the end that I want. So if I want the spoolie, I get the pencil. And if I want the pencil, I get the spoolie. Never fails. Brows can wind up looking like you've just put two mustaches over your eyes. No, no good. Really? Is this where we're at? What do our brows need? I hope you have found your own holy grail. Damn! I was almost done with that entire segment. Plus, it's got... Plus! What am I, 8? Or a parrot? Pick one.